and but you fall and you land on your ass, and you hit the ass, and it makes a spring sound like a boing. You hit a boing, and then you stand right up, and boing, and you stand right up. Shaboom. Upgrades to human anatomy. Listen, this all started with this. It all started with this. You know, I thought about it, right? Your nose has nothing to do with choking. My bad. Your nose has nothing to do with choking, right? So why, if you choke, you can't breathe through your nose? You can't breathe through your nose, right? So I had this idea, right? How could I fix that? That's what we got right here. So basically, look. Your nose goes behind and then just connects to the same pipe in which you breathe through, right? This fixes it. So if you choke around here and you'd still be able to breathe through your nose, then you could just deal with what you're choking on, right? And so I've got 10 of these, right? Such as 5 toes. If we changed, this is like, we can't do this. Unless, but like, think about it, right? This is the example. This, I probably should have colored this like a skin tone, but listen, the gray would be the toenail, and then the rest, this would be toe, and then it'd be foot, right? So what I'm thinking, right, is instead of we just add those toes, we just like fully connect them to the main foot, and then put them together to be one toe. Now the benefits, look, if you kick somebody with your one toe, your whole foot won't just crumple. The shit will like puncture. Like, it'll get to the point where if you got some strong ass legs and you need to defend yourself, you can kick a hole through somebody. Like, see, that's the type of understanding I'm thinking on. Balance. Listen. Right now, to stand, you use your big toe and your pinky toe, right? To balance, right? If you just made it all one toe, you could just balance on the one toe. Plus, think about it. My dancers out there, how much easier would it be if you just spun on your big ass toe, right? And then last reason's jumping. If you just jumped off your fat ass toe, and plus this toe, since it's so big, it have its own muscles, you could work it out. And then right, all my toe fetish people, right, you could, like, theoretically, of course, bigger toe or more toes, quality or quantity. Do you want quality of one big toe or the quantity of 5 little ones? That's a question for my toe people. If you do not like toes and or suck on them, don't answer. Simple as that. Next up, we got only 2 arms. I'm much more serious about this one right here, right? In this, so basically this sort of a diagram, we'll call it, over here in the top right corner, this square is supposed to be the body, and then it's like arm, and these 2 bottom arms would come out from your back. So it'd be like they'd be attached to your back and they'd come out from your back, right? Think about it, right? Think of it like this, right? You and your friends are all arguing about who's gonna do the zip line first because you're all scared and none of you want to go. Or, better example, you and all your friends are arguing about what the order is in a haunted house. Obviously, the first person got the biggest, scariest jump, right? So it's you and all your friends. Everybody can rock, paper, scissors each other at the same time because they got all 4 arms. Over here talking about some rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And then your other arms back here talking about some rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And so that's like, you can see what I'm going for here. Here we've got cooler. Obviously, everybody with 4 arms is awesome. More practical. And so what I mean right here, right, is like, imagine you're in school and you've got an essay and you got a presentation, and they're both due, and you're a procrastinator like me, right? Over here, look. Over here, right? Over here, I could be, so the idea was this and that and that and that, and then my back arms could be over there writing up and drawing up on what I want the presentation to be like. Like over here, I could be talking about how art is a gateway to the mind and how it expands our thinking, and then behind me, I could be writing up about how the respiratory system calculates and works with the other systems to create. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then we got more dap ups. Imagine, right? You pull up to a spot. You go into the mall. Your whole friend group there without you. Snakes. But we're not going to say that right now. What we're going to do is use all four arms to dap up everybody. And then imagine the crisp clap at the same time that go through everything. And then also cooler handshakes and gang signs, right? Imagine, like, look at me. Come here. If I do a handshake, right, and I'm like, right? Imagine you got four arms. You got four arms, right? You could, right? And then you could switch arms. Your forward right arm goes to his forward left arm. His forward left goes to and then the back, and then yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Gang signs are getting boring nowadays. Come on, guys, step up. You could quite literally easily step it up, but the problem is you don't have enough hands. That's what I'm saying. The problem is there aren't enough hands to go around for everybody. Not enough skull. See, I thought I was like teeter-tottering between not enough skull and not enough jelly, right? So look, in this diagram right here, this red sort of ball, as some people would describe it, that'd be your brain. This would all be skull, right? All this gray, and you can see there is the chin and the there is no nose bone. Fuck, inaccurate. Anyways, more protection is obviously the idea here, right? Because like, imagine someone's trying to take out a person of importance, and they shoot for the domski, and then that shit just tink. That shit just tink, because you got all that skull up there that it just like, right? And then people's heads are big anyways, right? My sister got a big ass head, but she ain't got this much skull protection, so her head is vulnerable. Not to mention harder football hits. Hey, Ray Lewis had to hold back so he didn't crack open people's brains. If we had more skull protection, you wouldn't need that. Then Ray Lewis be running at you 40 miles per hour, 250, pure muscle, and he's cracking open your brain. But he wouldn't be able to. He'd just try. See, that's what I'm saying. It'd make much more must see TV. As yep, let's go to the next slide. Booty needs to be bouncier. Listen, I say this, and you might think, oh, you're horny. Wrong. This is for everybody, right? Look at the reasons. Negate fall damage, more fun to smack, ultra boost on trampoline, right? Imagine you're you. You're you and I'm me. Just imagine that one, right? And I shoulder check you with my big, strong man, broad shoulders, right? And you fall down, but you fall and you land on your ass, and you hit the ass, and it makes a spring sound like a boing. You hit a boing, and then you stand right up. And boing, and you stand right up. Shoulder check me back, and then I go down, boing, and I come back up. That's a sign of respect, how I see it, right? Cause if the booty is built like rubber, you could theoretically, right, fall down, bounce off the booty, come back up, and then boom, you're right back on your feet. And the second reason more fun to smack, obviously, you just boom. But Ultra Boost on trampoline, I want to talk about this one, right? Trampolines are bouncy. So think about it like this. We could, instead of elevators, think about it like this. Instead of elevators, if our booties were bouncier, we could just put trampolines every 2 floors, bounce off the booty, go to the next 2 floors, land on the trampoline, bounce off with the booty, go to the next floor. It saves so much time. You just put a little trampoline in there and then everybody just boing. And then anybody who's disabled, oh, they can't use elevators. Damn. We just have where we put a wheelchair and it'd be a latch on the wall. You put the wheelchair and the latch on the wall. And then whoever is your person that's like caring for you, right? Or some passerby who wants to help. They would grab onto your wheelchair handles and use their booty bounciness to jump down, bounce off the trampoline, and bring you up with them. Which will build more community. Yeah, I'm cooking. Anyways, thicker ankles. I think the ankle and the knee just look so weak. And to be fair, they are. Hey, how many people you know with knee problems? How many people you know who rolled their ankle? If we had thicker ankles to allow more room for muscle and bone, you would know less people. And that's what I'm saying. Look, it also makes people stronger, higher vert, better basketball. Look in this diagram right here, right? We've got like this would be from knee down. So knee would happen, right? And knee would probably be a little thicker actually. And then the bones would connect. There'd be more room for bones. And this would all just be straight muscle. And it's just straight muscle down to your big ass foot with your singular toe. Are you staying with me? Right? And so here we have less leg injury, no more rolled ankles, obviously, right? Because, come here. Think about it like this. If you're playing a sport, and what is, like, take basketball for example. When somebody jumps in basketball and they land, they might land on their feet and then they land on their feet, they're fine. No, because their ankle rolled over, cracked, and now their bone is showing out. Shout out Gordon Hayward, right? So that's sort of like why this idea is, like, you see so many ankle injuries, especially when people are jumping and whatnot. But see, this one could go or not go, because if you just jumped with your bouncy booty instead, you wouldn't have to worry about the ankle. If you just jumped with your bouncy booty instead, you wouldn't need to worry about the ankle. Spine armor. Now, hear me out, right? The spine, listen, there's 2 main reasons people get paralyzed. Their spine gets injured. That's it. That's it, right? So if or like they get like a brain injury, right? But we got the big skull, so it's already. So if, like, look, I can touch my spine. I'm not skinny mini. I'm a little thick. But I can still touch my spine, right? That's a problem. Because then if I get fucking trucked from the back, I'm hitting one of these, I'm falling to the ground, and then boom, I'm paralyzed, no leg movement for 3 years. So, with this idea I have, look, in this diagram, this black is the spine. This black is the spine. And this white is like armor, sort of. Like, think of it like the ribs. Like, you know how your ribs protect your intestines, your lungs, your heart, you know how the ribs protect all that? It'd be the same thing with the spine, right? Because what's worse, right? A bullet hitting your lungs and you bleeding out dying, or a bullet hitting your spine and then you can't use your legs. Now, anybody who has actually been shot, or I know anybody who's been shot, this is a joke, I'm sorry for what happened. Anybody who hasn't been shot and can joke about it, think about it. Would you rather have no legs or just... I'm being insensitive. My bad, guys. Armpit wings. I thought about this. I thought about this very recently. Actually, like 2 hours ago. If, like, currently, name me 3 reasons you have an armpit. I'm waiting. You ain't got none? Fucking exactly. So if we just remove the armpit and put in some webbed wings, right? Then, we could, like, you know how Batman got the cape and he glide down and shit? We could do that, but I'd just be like this and I'd be, caca! Right? And so they're not really meant for flying, more like floating or like negating fall damage, right? And these would be like, they'd have a limit. So like you wouldn't be able to skydive with them because you'd be going too fast. They wouldn't be able to hold that your sort of altitude, right? But if you like, I don't know, let's say you did a booty bounce off the trampoline with your bouncy booty and you flew off, then you could just, and then you're gliding down slowly with aura. That's what we've got here. Flying, negate fall damage, and aura. That's what I'm saying, right? Because like the armpit's already useless. So, add wings. Are we serious? And this is just me nitpicking here, right? Like, I can't change it. It probably won't change. Like, I highly doubt people in 3,000 years will have wings. Unless. Anyways, smaller ears. This one's simple. I have a gripe with these ears. What does all of this over here do? I might just be ignorant, but like basically the whole idea for this is that it would just be like it cut off like here-ish, and then you'd go like this is the hole, and then you have a little bit of ear. So it's not just a hole on the side of your head, right? So the idea here is this is unneeded, so remove it, right? But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Next we got one pupil, right? You could, I don't really know what focuses, but if this black part, aka the pupil, is what focuses, then if you had an eye like this with multiple pupils, right, you could focus on 3 different things at once, and then all 4 of your arms could be working on different things, right? So look, focus on multiple things. Cool eye tricks. Imagine you meet somebody, and this is what their eyes look like. Imagine they just like shoo 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 shoo, right? And then like, or like they focus on one thing with this eye, and they're like, this eye is this pupil is focusing on the book over there. Figure out which one is focusing on the book at the end, and then they move it like this, and then like that, and then they blink, and then they 3 things at once to help with the forearms, right? So basically the idea here is you have 4 arms. You need to focus on multiple things, or else you're having 4 arms on one thing, which is OD. Which is why we have the 3 pupils, because then you can focus on plenty of different things. And so this is like, and my idea was like, if I'm watching a movie, I can only really focus on one thing at a time, right? So if I have 3 pupils, I can look at the lady getting split in half and the monster splitting her in half, and then I can also look at the background while using my brand new small ears to listen to the nice music. It'd probably be crazy music. It'd probably be like, ha, 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 ha. And, you know, she's getting split in half, and, you know, I watched the Backrooms movie today. That shit was, I mean, what? And then, you know, whatever, brother. You understand what I'm saying, though. It's a damn. But yeah, man, that was my shit, man. What of it? I think the perfect human probably has something like 4 arms, wings under only one set of the arms, the 3 pupils, smaller ears, bigger head, right? Then they'd have the big back, then they'd have the big legs, and then they'd have the big toe, and then they have the bouncy booty. That's what we're all about here, right?